Hey you guys, it is your girl GOLDYNAPS. Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. Today's video is highly requested and it's going to be an in-depth video on how I create my reels. We're going to be going over equipment, editing, how I do transitions. Before we get into it, please like and subscribe so you can see more content like this from me. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So first, let's talk equipment. I like to keep my equipment and setup really simple, so it's really just a small office chair that's backless so that the back is not in the frame, that I can lift up and down if necessary. I also use 2 studio lights and a phone tripod, and then my phone to record the videos. And I will have all the exact items that I use listed below, but I just like to keep it simple and consistent. Something I do want to emphasize though is that I always set up my equipment in front of a blank white wall. Your transitions, which is going to be something I cover later on, are always going to be way more seamless if the background is blank. When the background is blank, there's less of a chance of stuff like moving around and just throwing off the seamlessness of your transition. So I really want to emphasize, just have a blank white wall, and if you don't have one in your home, then get a blank white backdrop or something of that nature. Okay, let's talk about prep work. Every single reel that you've seen me make, there's a significant amount of prep work that goes into it before actually sitting down to record. This preparation phase just saves me a lot of time because it gives me a clear-cut outline of exactly what I'm going to record before I actually sit down to do it. So first things first, I have to pick my audio. If I don't already have a song in mind that I really want to use on a reel, then there's 2 Spotify playlists that I look at to get some inspiration. One is viral hits and the other is big on the internet. I want to emphasize here that using viral or trending sounds are really going to make a huge difference in the engagement that you get on your reel. It's going to do a lot better if you're using sounds that the algorithm is pushing out to the explore page rather than just using any audio that you like. Okay, so now it's time for me to outline exactly what I'm going to be doing in the video, and I have a little method that I use to outline my transitions and all those sorts of things. I write out all the lyrics of the sound or song that I'm using, and then I mark where each beat is. Doing your transitions on beat is going to make them look a million times more seamless than if you just do them at any point in the song, and beats are not always at the end of the verse, so you really got to listen to the sound and mark the beats because it's going to look better than if you just do the transitions to the words as opposed to where the beat is in the song. Next to each beat, I kind of mark what I'm going to be doing in each frame and what transition I want to do to get from frame to frame. Now the final product does change significantly from the outline. Sometimes transitions don't work or they don't look good or everything isn't flowing together in the way I want it to, but the outline just gives me a good idea of how I want things to go, and if I need to change them in the process of recording, at least I have something to fall back on that gives me an idea of what I wanted the finished product to look like. So now it's time to actually sit down and record the video. I do this on my phone and I do it in the Instagram story mode because this gives me the opportunity to save each clip before I actually go ahead and put it together. Instagram is super finicky, so I really would not recommend recording your reels directly in the reels portion of the app because I've had times where it just like completely deletes what I recorded and it's a hot mess. Now there is a filter that I like to use when I record my reels because it just gives everything like a consistent warmth and look. Sometimes the light changes in my room and it just doesn't look seamless when I do the transition, so I always put the same filter on all of my reels just so everything can have the same consistency. I will put the name of the filter somewhere on the screen. I don't remember what it's called. Okay, so now we're going in and actually doing our first transition, and I'm going to try to explain this in the most clear and concise way possible. But getting seamless transitions is a matter of replicating the exact same gesture twice. And that means the positioning of your head and your shoulders has to be the same. The gesture that you're doing has to be exactly the same so that when you go from frame to frame, it looks like you're doing one gesture. So in this first case, I wanted to do a head turn transition, and I wanted to transition from having my hair in a bun to having my hair down. So in the first frame, all I'm doing is just turning my head to the right. Once I shoot a clip that I like, I download it and airdrop it to my laptop where I edit it in Premiere. I prefer to edit all of my reels in Premiere. I used to edit them in the Instagram Reels part of the app, but I just had too many experiences where the app was being finicky and deleting it, so now I just edit everything on Premiere. So now all I'm gonna do is make whatever change I need to make. In this case, I'm just taking my hair down, and I'm going to try to repeat the exact same gesture that I did in the first clip in this second clip. Now we're getting to the part of making my reels that gets a little complicated because I do a lot of transitions back to back. So you're not only having to think of getting your positioning and framing correct to finish the first transition, you also have to think of flowing into the second transition and getting the timing and positioning correct for that. This is where our outlining process is really gonna help us because you're paying attention to the beats so that you know exactly when to flow into the next transition. So the first transition, I wanted to transition from having a bun to having my hair down. The second transition, I wanted to pull down on my straight hair to having twists. And this is obviously like a very condensed version of how I make my reels. Generally, doing some of these clips takes me like 20 to 30 tries because I try to get it as perfect as possible. So immediately after I get a clip that I think is gonna work, I save it, airdrop it to my laptop, and upload it into my Premiere just to see if it flows well. If the first transition flows well to the second transition, then I go ahead and change my hair and move on. If it doesn't look good, I sit there and record it again and again until I get one that's seamless. Okay, so now we are moving on to the next transition. If you recall in the previous one, I pulled down on my straight hair to get to my twists. So all I'm gonna do in this case is pull down on my twists so that it looks like I went from straight hair to twists. I next wanna transition from clapping so that I get from twists to my curly hair. Here I'm gonna do the exact same thing. When I get a clip that I like, I save it, send it to my laptop, upload it into Premiere and see if it works well. If it does, then I move on to the next frame. All right, so now we are moving on to the last transition where I'm gonna go from my wet curly hair to my dry curly hair. If you recall, last transition, I clapped from my twists to get to my wet curly hair. So here again, I'm gonna clap with my wet curly hair so that it looks like it transitioned, and then I'm gonna do a hair flip. Once I've got a clip that I like, I go ahead, do my makeup, get my finished look, do a hair flip to get my last transition, and then I have my finished look. So once all of my clips are into Premiere and my transitions are looking seamless, I add in the audio and make sure it's lining up with the words that I'm mouthing. Sometimes I decide to add in keyframes, which is where you'll see the frame moving in and out. And I will put the final reel here so that you guys can see what the final product looks like after I added in all of my little edits. So doing a reel like this where I do multiple transitions back to back can take me anywhere from a few hours to a few days. A lot of the reels where I've done a protective style, like box braids, have taken me multiple days and multiple days of planning because I have to actually do my hair, but also incorporate in those transitions, plan out the transitions. Sometimes they don't always work. So a lot of work goes into this, and I hope that outlining everything in this video, showing you guys my techniques, helps you go out and make your own. Okay, you guys, that is gonna be it for this video. I hope everything that I said here is helpful so that you can go out and make your own reels. Please like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. It really helps me out as a creator, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!